can get it to zoom in here. That's not boat wake and that's not wind. Notice there's a crosshatch section there in the middle where the lines that are going different directions intersect. I've been sitting here quite a while. I've seen a couple boats go by. The lines that are on the water right now are not from boats, and wind does not produce that type of a pattern. Right here you can see the crosshatch section where there's lines that go up and to the right that are intersecting with lines that go directly out. You can even see somewhat of a checkered pattern in the middle where these lines intersect. What do you suppose is causing that? So I'm just going to let it record for a minute, because if it was boat wake, then they would subside, they would diminish, they would get smaller and spread out and then be invisible in a fairly short time. But as you can see, they're not decreasing, they're not diminishing, they're not going away. So it kind of raises the question, what is it creating these lines? Is it some sort of a radio frequency on the surface? Is it some sort of vibration coming from below? Whatever it is, it's not wind and it's not boat wake. And it's not normal. I'm here every day. I look out over this reservoir every single day. Look how perfectly straight these lines are right here. And then the lines right next to them go at a 45-degree to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. And you can see the checkered pattern right there in the middle where they intersect. Is it the Schumann? Is it some 5G? Okay, now I've stabilized the camera a little less camera motion. Right now the most prominent are the ones on the right. How long have we been recording? 3 minutes, 30 seconds? Boat wake would have disappeared by now. And you can still see the crosshatch there in the middle a little bit. Looks like the ones on the left have diminished a bit. I'll keep an eye on it. Scalar waves, maybe? They're not boat wake, or they would all lead to a single point where they all converge on the single point of the boat that left the wake. But that's not what we're seeing. They're all perfectly parallel, even space between each wave. From one end to the other of each line, they're evenly spaced. Now you can see the ones on the right have actually curved. They were straight a minute ago and now they've curved to the right. And you can see the fine line right here at the end where they all come to a stop right there. Boat wake doesn't do that. And then there's a secondary pattern, like an interference pattern, behind the boom of the bucket there. If I could, can't quite catch it. But anyway, you can see how they all come to an abrupt halt right there in a straight line. And over there behind the boom of the bucket, there's a secondary pattern. But these aren't boat wakes. These are some sort of like microwave, radio wave, scalar wave, 5G stuff. Schumann resonance, I don't know. But it doesn't usually happen. I'm out here on a regular basis and I'm pretty observant. They be hitting us with the waves. I could see what looks like a second pattern over here. Seems to have dissipated. Now you can see there's a secondary set of waves beyond the horizon line where they all terminate. There's a secondary pattern that's curving the opposite direction. If he would quit interfering with my YouTube video, getting his bucket in the way. Just for a control sample, this is what the water normally looks like. There's like no wind today. There hasn't been any wind all day. Those waves aren't boat wake or wind. Okay? There's a few ripples starting there. But nothing like what we were seeing before. Those other waves, those are something else. Got some wind that picked up, so I'll show you what those waves look like on the surface of the water. Just to get a comparison. So that you'll know that the waves we saw before are not wind. That's wind. All the little tiny ripples, that's the wind. Coincidentally, yesterday on the same day I recorded those waves on the water, there's another video came out by the YouTube channel Into Thin Air that seems to associate radar anomalies with this earthquake swarm over there near Yellowstone. I don't know if the two have anything to do with each other, but I just thought it was odd coincidence.
Alright everybody, welcome back. April 23rd, 2024. And for those of you that saw my post on Yellowstone yesterday, this is going to blow your mind. For those of you that follow me yesterday, I posted this tweet saying that Yellowstone was getting cooked. And that is because me and some other people noticed the activity going on at these radar stations. And we've seen wild things happen in the past, crazy weather, earthquakes. You are not going to believe this. Within 5 minutes of this first radar anomaly, an earthquake swarm began at Yellowstone. Check this out. Within 5 minutes that this radar tower goes off with a signal. Now, I can't backtrack anymore to see if it went off just before the quake, but chances are it did, because the other quakes line up exactly perfect with the next time this thing goes off. I'll get in a little closer here, and you're not going to believe this. Check out the times of this earthquake swarm at Yellowstone. 10:32 UTC, this 2.8. This one here was at 6:15 after the 5:30 beam, a 2.1 at 11:20, right as we were getting that 11:20 to 11:50 beam, and so on and so forth. My friends, every one of these earthquakes falls either exactly on time or within a range each time this radar tower goes off. I'll run through the whole line again for you. Here's the 5:30 shot. We're moving down the line. This one right here. Go, there it is. 10 o'clock UTC. We'll go even farther, and here's the final one right there. 11:55 into 12. And right after this, we have one about 13:20, I want to say. 13:35 is the last time we see this happen, and we can go all the way across the chart to prove that. Not a single flash from those radar towers after that, putting every one of these earthquakes within the time frame of those flashes. Something else to point out, in the last 30 days at least, as I get down into this area, I'm going to click on this earthquake right here, 3.1. Besides one other earthquake, this is the strongest one to hit Yellowstone in over a month. If I go to 30 days, all magnitudes, we can see right here that will pop up in a second. There they are. And if I go to the largest magnitude, it actually is the largest, 3.1 literally today. In the last month, this earthquake hit the caldera exactly when that first pulse came off that radar. And then as we move through the beginning of the day into basically current time, we saw 3 to 4 other pulses that then ended with other earthquakes. I don't understand how this can be explained away anymore. These things are happening almost on a daily basis now and being caught. So this is something for a lot of you to check out, because I don't know how else to explain this besides these radar stations, or whatever type of technology is there, is seemingly responsible for these earthquakes we're seeing today at the caldera of Yellowstone supervolcano. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, why do you think they're doing this? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to test things to see the limits they can reach. I'm not sure. But whatever's happening here, there is a synchronicity to it that I can't ignore. I mean, what are the chances of this? These earthquakes falling in between the exact pulses of this radar station. It's the strongest earthquake this area has seen in well over a month, and 2 of these radar systems are doing this. The one in Nevada, again, we talked about yesterday, overlapping right about here with the other massive tower we get that literally reaches the caldera of Yellowstone right here. You can see the circle of the beams here. It actually reaches where the volcano is. And there was one other thing I picked up here before I let you guys go. There was a weird flash in the Dakotas. You're going to see that right there. This thing just pops up out of nowhere right before or right after that first flash. There it is. So this is the end of the 13:35 flash, and then we had an ensuing earthquake or 2 or even 3. And then right after that, we had this weird flash on another radar station right here. If they're connected or not, I do not know, but to ignore this Yellowstone stuff and to continue saying that this stuff is not connected just doesn't make sense to me anymore. I understand people have their deep beliefs about none of this stuff existing, but how can we deny all this information? If anyone has any questions or comments, I'll answer the best I can. There's a lot of people online here that know about this stuff even better than I do. I just happen to catch it a lot. And here it is again. Major radar burst followed by a literal earthquake swarm in Yellowstone. My friends, what is going on here? All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have